welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast for all that crap we love to talk about on Ye Olde Bravs. How are you doing over there, Bam?
Oh my God, I'm really excited. I'm really very excited. How are you doing?
Good. I'm Ronnie, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Monday. We're doing this a little late today because I was traveling, but here we are to knock them out. Tonight is Crappy Hour. That's our live show every other Monday at 5:30 Pacific time, and it's where we talk Bravo trash with you guys. It's on YouTube Live, and we also try and stream it on Instagram. That doesn't always work, so just go to YouTube Live. Also, it's available for free on our Patreon. You can also find all of our video recaps on Patreon, which is where you'll see my gorgeous face right now. And those come out for free a week later over on YouTube. And Patreon's also where you find our traders recaps. Our website is where you can find links to all of that and links to our Mounting Hysteria tour, which begins this week. We start this Friday in San Francisco and San Diego. We will be doing the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 1. We're splitting them up in each city because we know we're going to talk 10 hours about it. So come see that. We're so excited to see you guys. 2 weeks after that, we'll be in Salt Lake City and Denver. But guess where we're going to be in between? February 1st in New York City. We'll be on Broadway at Town Hall doing the Golden Crappy Awards. There's like very few tickets left, so go get them. That show's going to be fucking amazing. We're working on it every day, and we're really excited about it. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, actually, we just looked at the seat map. There really are like a handful of tickets left. However, you can still see it because we are proud to announce 2 things. One is that we have a streaming partner for the show that we just got it all set up, and streaming tickets are on sale now. So now you can watch the Golden Crappies anywhere in the world. So you can find a link everywhere on our social media website, watchwhatcrappens.com. We are partnering with Kiswi, and we are so excited about that. They do great work. And so they will be doing a stream on February 1st, Friday, February 1st. And then afterwards, if you miss that, it will be available as a video on demand for 2 weeks. So, come watch it, whether in person or virtually. It's going to be a great time. And then the second thing is that round 2 of the Crappies voting, like the big voting round, has now begun. Now, when you vote, there are 5, sometimes six in a category, but there are 5 nominees in each category, like a real award show. And who you vote for, real. Yeah, it is real. It's who you vote for is going to determine who wins in each category. There's some real surprises, some real snubs, like any good award show. And it's also just really fun. So thanks everyone who voted in round 1. And now go get your asses over to the internet and vote for round 2. Everything is on watchwhatcrappens.com.
Yeah, and that's a really fun streaming show, too, because it's a huge chat room full of, a couple thousand people who will be talking about the show and talking shit during the show. So that's going to be super fun. So join us for that. And now let's get into Real Housewives of Potomac. We'll be doing Southern hospitality later on. For those of you who are wondering where the hell that is, I went to a 30-year reunion for a dinner theater in Florida with my fellow apprentice from when I was 19. Can you believe that shit? So I did that this weekend. I felt really young still because they're all still older than me, so that felt good. So we're starting a little late today, but Potomac, we took off last week, mostly because we were just so busy. We had too much stuff and it pissed us off. The show pissed us off. Now I said in just kind of an offhanded comment, like they're queer baiting. I got a couple of DMs that were like, it's not queer baiting. Don't buy erasure, Ronnie, buy erasure. Those women are bisexual. I'm not erasing anybody's goddamn bisexuality. And I probably misspoke by using the word queer baiting. Sorry. But what I meant was they're using fake lesbian, oh my God, it's a girl kissing a girl to bait you into giving a shit about the season where nothing is going on. So maybe I could have found a better term for it. I'll work on that.
Good. Work on that, Ronnie. I will say also, like the last, more than that, like that girl on girl action. It was a kind of a boring episode. Like nothing really happened. And, you know, to people who are like, yeah, but Roni can be really boring. I agree. But you know what they say? The opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. And I felt very indifferent about the Potomac episode, wherein I often hate the Roni episodes. So like when you feel indifferent when you watch an episode and you're like, oh, well, nothing really happened. I don't feel one way or another. I just feel like time passed and I watched talking, sort of like that movie, A Real Pain. Then it's sort of like, okay, well, you know, like if we have to cut an episode, that's what it'll be. Like Roni will make your blood boil and we'll be like, oh, fuck this show. But then then we need to talk about it because we're feeling things. So, you know, that's some of the logic that we apply.
Yeah. But here we are. We came back with it. We're not leaving it. We would never leave Potomac forever. It's just one little,
No, of course not.
One little moment in time. But we're back, Potomac. We're back. So this one is season 9, episode 15. Old rumors die hard.
Yes. So we're seeing everyone's back from Panama, the really amazing Panama vacation, and we're seeing Karen and Ray. They're going to go play golf. And Ray's like, time for some golf. And she's like, oh, God, Ray, those clubs look heavy. Where's the caddy? And he's like, you're the caddy. I'm like, are you sure you want Karen driving that golf cart? You may never see those clubs again. They'll be at the bottom of a lake.
And it was like yelling fire in a crowded theater. I mean, he said, you're the caddy, Karen. And then deer from all over the forest just started running. It was like a stampede. It caused an earthquake on the golf course, okay? Those deer were so fucking scared. They're like, please, no. Don't give it the keys to anything.
And then the most amazing part is as they're walking, their car starts. And Karen's like, Ray, you started my car again. He's like, oh, well, it's amazing. You know, it's so funny because when you start the car, we always have to blow into something. And me, I just touch this button and it just lights right up. Isn't that funny?
Back in the day, we used to need oil for cars, but all you have to do is blow into a car. You've literally had so much to drink that you can start the cars with your voice. Ray, that's not why I blow into that thing. God damn it.
Ray, if you hold down the button too long, it locks the car. No, it starts the car. So when you hold down on the button, the crank begins on its own. No, Ray, there's no crank on the car.
So now, you guys, I don't know if you knew this. This is crazy, something that happened in this episode, because we haven't been reminded of this in a while. Gizelle has daughters. Okay, so Gizelle is out with her daughters right now, and they're shopping and stuff. And they're talking about guys in college. And she's like, so what's your advice, Grace, for your sisters before they go to college? And Grace is like, well, first of all, these guys are going to approach you because they're like itching for girls. So beware. The Ubers, the DoorDash, the bank account might look rough, but don't check. Just know that God has it on lock. Easy to say when you're literally the recipient of tithes through your father. I don't think you should allow your children who make money from your percentages of tithes to walk around saying God's got it on lock. No, those people are being tricked.
Giselle's like, no, Grace, stop. No, God does not have it unlocked. No, stop it. This, by the way, this episode is interesting because, you know, Gizelle has 2 daughters going away to school, and we get to see it all getting teased out in not in one fell swoop, but like this, you would think that they're just going to be going off to school and be gone. But in this case, only one goes off to school. That means we have to get to do even more stuff with the second one later on as she goes to school.
We'll get it. And it's cute because these girls are off making fresh memories. And then the next scene, we go to like Melissa Gorga's old memories and we end up at Shakers.
Yes. Shakers is I guess a gay bar, and there's going to be a drag event. And Ashley is meeting with King Molasses, who's a drag king. And Ashley's like, you know, I've been watching you on Instagram a lot and I'm like mesmerized. And King Molasses is like, appreciate that. You know, hopefully we'll be doing the very same thing on this day. I know it's a humble setup, but, you know, I've seen your show before. So it seems like this kind of matches the sort of events you guys do, right?
Shakers is the place that Melissa like was a stripper, not a stripper, but like a go-go girl at, right? Wasn't it called Shakers on the?
I thought that was Erica
shore?
Jane. Was that Erica Jane? Was that a place called
did Erica
Shakers?
Jane work it real?
Or was it like Bombaloni's or something?
Shakers. Okay, prepare to be shaking, physically shaking. Danielle Staub, Erica Jane danced at Shakers. Okay, so it was Danielle Staub and Erica Jane. Sorry, Melissa Gorga. Sorry, I forgot the name of hers. But yeah, they
She
danced.
just
at
shakes
the
it at
Jersey
Envy. Yeah.
I messed up my Bravo lore. So Shakers is this bar, and so Ashley does a lot of drag shows throughout the year, and so she is going to be a drag king now. Now, can I just say, the drag community is so amazing, and I went to see RuPaul live when it came to Austin. It was so good, and I don't watch the show regularly because, like you said, it's like a Marvel universe where if you don't keep up with the lore, you don't know what the fuck is going on. But I was amazed at how talented these girls were. I mean, just the dancing, the high jumps, the splits. And now let me just say, after seeing King Molasses, you guys have a lot to catch up to because King Molasses can't even do a box step on the rhythm. Okay, King Molasses, go over to RuPaul and check how they're doing it. They showed some King Molasses in action. I can see why you're called Molasses.
King Molasses had like that kind of like swivel and then like point thing that he was doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's maybe the drag king arts. I don't know much about drag kings, but maybe we, maybe those arts have not been funded as well.
Well, yeah. And I think that, traditional drag is like men who are just wanting to be fabulous. So they become these fabulous women. Whereas when it's reversed, it's like, you want to be a guy? Like who? Why? It's like, because the guys are just like, hey, I've got a number, everybody. I'm going to lip sync my dad explaining something to me that I already knew. It's like, what are you going to do? Mansplaining lip syncing?
Well, and the other thing is now this, I mean, what I think is fascinating about being a drag king is that like women in like traditional sort of like fashion or whatever, women would wear dresses, and men would wear pants. But like, it's obviously no one bats an eye when you see a woman wearing pants or whatever. Like women have been able to take on masculine appearances, quote unquote, masculine appearances. But like for men, like the moment you wear anything that like has like a slight twinge of like femininity, it's like pussy gay boy, so like there's also like with drag queens, I feel like there's a way to be like, aha, I'm gonna do it all in a way that you said I never could. Now I don't know because I'm not an academic about this stuff, so I may be just talking out of my ass, but I also am a podcaster, and that sometimes is what happens. It's an occupational hazard.
Well, it's interesting because the kind of the traditional roles, like you said, are so upended now, but in the drag community they're not necessarily. In the drag community, it's like women are like big body women and glitter and big boobs and big hair. And then the drag kings are like, I'm a, sexy man in suits. And so I think it's funny that at the end of the day, the gay people are the ones upholding the rules set up by the patriarchy in the first place. You know what? Wow. I never thought about it like this until a scene from Shakers. So I would like to thank Professor Melissa Gorga. Wait, hold on. I have to apologize again. Let me apologize to the Academy of the school. I apologize to Professors Erica Jane and Danielle Staub.
So Ashley is talking about how she likes singing and dancing, and she did musicals and plays and music videos, and we see some of her greatest hits, including her performing Coffee and Love at a few different Pride events, and then most recently this like Living and Thriving song that she performed earlier in the season that forgot to put that on the ballot for most cringe, because that really should have been on the ballot. Like her singing that song.
Count. Well, I guess because she sang it fresh, right?
It was, yeah, because it was like her at that GNA event. She's like, so
my love and my carry on. That's the best lyric.
Yeah. So Ashley's like, I'm really also like getting into my masculine energy a little bit too. And so King Molasses is like, so what are you thinking? And she says, I would really like to do something that's like in business attire. Like I want to like slick back hair. I want to be like American Psycho originally was like. So yeah.
Ashley, you just want to sit on a counter. Just do that. That's a guy thing to do. Just like, do you have a kitchen counter that I could just come in here and sit on? It's how I'm raising my sons.
Just sit in a chair and put your knees in opposite directions and take up everyone else's space. And that's like I feel like that's a very masculine energy thing.
So they work on some stuff, and then we get a wacky slideshow of like lesson 1, the slide. And King Molasses is trying to teach Ashley moves, but I don't know. It's kind of the blind leading the blind, let's be honest. Molasses is no Fosse. So
this was not Fosse. No, this was like one of the moves was, okay, and now you will sit on the counter. It's like, here's a dance move. Hop onto the counter. And she's like, ah! I'm like, okay. Well.
I already tell my kids how to do this. So then it's like some wacky practicing stuff. And so she's like, can I get some rip-off pants? Because I want to throw them on somebody. And she's telling us that she invited everybody plus her mom plus Josh because and then we see a shot of the flyer. Hi, beauties. I'm excited to share this flyer with you. And feel free to channel your inner masculinity too.
Yeah.
So, if I ever got that invitation, I would flash it. How dare you tell me to flash my inner masculinity? How dare you?
I was like, you know what? I already did my fantasy football draft of the year. Okay, I did it. I flexed my masculinity.
Yeah, I watch the Traders once a year on Peacock. That's enough for me. And I also watch Love Island. I'm basically growing a vagina-loving penis at this point. I'm probably going to turn straight soon. I've watched a lot of straight things this year.
Let me tell you something. I just listened to one of my Dave Matthews CDs. So my masculinity, my straight bro is still here and with us. That'd be my drag king persona. I would just be in like a flannel and like baggy jeans, well, not baggy, but just like ill-fitting jeans, and being like, crash into me.
It's kind of already me, except Patti LuPone songs.
So now we go to Kiera, who is at her med spa, which is exciting. And Gizelle comes over. She's like, wow, my house. And so Gizelle is like Kiera, like the name on the wall and everything. She's like, yeah, welcome to Key Stewart. And she's like, wow, this is amazing. This is like a high rent district, Kiera.
Mm-hmm. So we find out that she's known her forever through Cal. And we see a flashback where she's like, wow, you've come a long way since you were using Cal as your guinea pig guy. I was like, really? Because you're the guinea pig for Cal now. Is that where Cal got it? Because I've seen Cal try a lot of bad wigs on you over the years. But I do have to say that Cal has gotten a lot better over the years. Because have you seen pictures from season 1? Like whenever they show season 1, I'm like, oh my God, how is that even Gizelle? Like it doesn't even look like her personality. But yeah, he's done a good job. I think he's improved.
I was just watching some old seasons of Potomac like an hour ago. I was like browsing through them and I was looking through like season 3 or 4, and yeah, a lot of interesting looks. And I also revisited Robin's her reunion hair that she had with the season where they were all dressed in yellow. I think it was season 5, and she had that like yellow hair that was it was like spaghetti hanging on a rack. That was an interesting choice.
That gave me a hiccup.
So Kiera is gonna she's showing herself and everything. And for a moment it looks like we're gonna have a return of the vaginal rejuvenation segment that used to plague Bravo, but it doesn't really happen, does it? We just allude to it.
No, they threaten us because she's like, "Oh, people get their hair waxed. Do they do their vajayjays?" Yeah, so you've never heard of vajayjay lasering or whatever? What is it, waxing or lasering or whatever? And Kiera's like, "Yeah, that's why people do it." It's like that's like the number one value meal here is my coochie and my crack. Get it done.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So they're joking, but then Wendy arrives and she has a flat tire. And she's like, oh my God, what happened to this? What is this? Who do I even call about this? And so she calls somebody and she's like, I have a flat tire. And they're like, your credit card is expired. She's like, not expired.
Like, ma'am, also this is a Starbucks. Oh my God, can you fix this anyway? Just put some cups around my tire. Let me drive on the street.
I don't think I've ever actually felt like a Wendy before this episode when she's just like, who do I call? My tire is flat. And coming up at 2 p.m. at Cinemark on 58th Street. It's like, that's 777 film. Who are you calling? That's movie phone from 1990.
You called 1-800-MATTRES. You left the last house off for savings, Wendy.
Someone just comes and drops a bag of quarters. Like, you saved.
800-555-321 Empire today. I don't even know their number. I just know that stupid jingle.
They're like, leave your car on the side of the road for cars for kids today. Not 1877 cars for kids. No. Why do they have
Someone's
to have such a
got a
memorable
brand
number?
Someone's got a brand new tire for me. Food Emporium, Food Emporium. Wait, why is Food Emporium singing about my tire?
I love that it's just random people now. She's like, I have a flat tire. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders don't upset us. All we ask is that you let us have it your way. Wait a minute, how did I call you?
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now that's actually a little bit on theme. It's on theme.
Yeah, that would have been a good call, actually. Mm-hmm. So they're like, your credit card's expired, and she's mortified. I think I've had this moment happen to me multiple times. But here's a question. If my credit card's expired, why didn't you send me a new one? What, I got to call you and fucking beg you? Do you want me to spend money on your credit card or Capital One's? Because I'll spend my old Navy card. I don't care. Just if it's expired, I'm not using it again until you send me one. So send me one.
I just want to clarify something. I think that what happened here was that her AAA account had expired, not the credit card. And so they're like, so when they're like, it expired, she's like, what? It expired? When it expired? Just renew me. They're like, yeah, we'll renew it for you. So chances are she probably got a million letters from AAA, because that's what AAA does, is that they just flood you with envelope after envelope after envelope. Like, you want AAA life insurance? Are you interested in vegetable dressing, salad dressing? AAA does that too. Oh, staplers. Do you want one?
Like,
just fill out this form.
Nothing to worry about here. Please be seated. We've got the balsamic vinaigrette for your salad. I know it's been a rough morning on you. I'm glad we're here to help.
Vinaigrette Association of America. So she probably ignored all her renewal notices, but that's what I think happened. Okay, but she's now mortified that she's sitting here in the front of this day spa with a flat tire.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, my tire light came on. I just ignored it like you do. And they're like, you ignored your tire light? I got into my car and my tire light's on and I still drove. Tire light's always on. If it gets cold, the tire light comes on. If it gets hot, the tire light comes on. Tires are the new divas. They need a lot of attention, these fucking tires.
That tire light, it's like it lives to be turned on. It's like, guys, I'm doing it. I'm turning myself on. And
0.1 PSI lower than all the other tires, and I want justice.
Excuse me, Mr. Mandelka. I just want to let you know that the front left tire is only at 26 PSI.
Everything else is at 27. You know what? Take it as advice. Do with that what you will. I'm not your mother.
Listen. All I'm saying is I just want you to know, but you know what? So wrong that I let you know about your tire. I'll just go back to my work. I'm going to read the David Brooks column in the Times.
How's my tire pressure? Could be better. Could be worse. Could be better.
I want that in the machine when you fill up the tire and it says like what it is. It's like, could be better. So happens I feel pretty good right now.
We'll drive another day. She
but Wendy says,
and meets the girls. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And she says, ladies, so, it gave me a notification that my tire pressure was down. And I was like, okay. And I'm just driving on the highway and I pull up and it's like, doot, 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 doot. Sure, there was some smoke. There was some fire. I couldn't get my car above 25 miles per hour. It felt like I was driving over 10 million logs. But like, I had no idea my tire was flat.
And this is such a 2025 thing to say, even though it was said in 2024. It's a modern thing to say. Gizelle goes, the car should have stopped you. That is so, no, it should not have stopped you. And that's what people say when they drink too much. Like, I was overserved. No, your ass drank too much. Don't blame the bartender. Okay, you drunk. You drank too much. Gotta say that though now. That's one of those things that I've always hated that term, but I say that now. I'm like, I was overserved. It's not my fault.
Well, this tire was overserved, it seems like, with holes. And but I don't think I don't know that that's a function that cars have, that if you get like a flat tire, the entire car stops. I think that sounds so dangerous. Like you're on a highway, you like get like a flat and you just halt. Well, every other car can just like ram you up the ass.
I warned you about my PSI. You did nothing. I'm just going to sit here. You can deal with the ramifications.
I am flat and I want everyone just to go around me. Okay, I'm not in the mood. I'm flat today.
So they talk about her flat tire for too long because, it's the season. So then the associate brings in champagne. I don't think this happens much at Kieran's. I just don't believe it. So because you know why? Because we were somewhere where they never gave us champagne. Oh, HD Buttercup. They don't give me champagne, but on TV they give people champagne. So I don't believe this TV champagne.
Yeah, no. I don't believe. I've never been served champagne. There was one time I went into a fancy store and was browsing, and they gave me champagne. But other than that, no, never. It doesn't happen in real life.
So they start talking.
I pretty much
about
had to
Greg.
con the champagne also, by the way. I had to like tell a story, and they were like, "Do you want some champagne?" I was like, "Sure." I like basically faked my champagne delivery.
What was your story about? Like needing champagne?
No, this was last year when we were going
specific.
I was like, so I am building a restaurant and we're looking to get champagne. So no, I went to a store and I was looking for a suit for when we went to the iHeart Awards, and I was like, I was basically like, I'm going to an award show, and they're like, excuse me, like as soon as you say award show, they pull out that champagne, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll have this champagne now. I'll pretend like I'm actually a Oscar nominee.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shit, we should just go through life like that.
Hello, I'm going to an award show.
Sorry. Hope you
Excuse
can
us.
Get the table.
Hi, welcome to Olive Garden. How can I help you? Oh, one moment. I'm going to an award show later. What did you say again?
I just have one request for this cast. Could you stop asking about Greg? Literally nobody cares about Greg. Why are we asking Kiera about Greg 5 times an episode? Greg is stupid. Greg is boring. Greg doesn't want to be on the show. Get rid of Greg. I'm tired of Greg. And so they're like, what about Greg? What about your stupid relationship that nobody cares about? And she's like, oh, I just don't know if I'm going to, I was thinking of hyphenating my name, but I'm just the kind of woman I would never hyphenate my name. I'm my name. Well, except he doesn't like that because he said a man should be a man and a woman should be a woman. So I'm just going to take his last name, but I'll still pretend I have my last name on my business. I was like, well, I don't know if this is a feminism storyline. I think you need to just get rid of that guy. That's it.
Yeah, he seems just like a lump. He's a lump in a polo shirt, okay?
And don't even say that on this show because we've got Uncle Lump.
We actually have a good lump. Okay,
he
is like an annoying low pressure light. He's like, I'm still a man. Hell, I just want to say everyone, hi, I'm a man. My light just went on. I just want to tell you I'm not going to hyphenate because I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man.
Yeah. Where's my dinner? My favorite man question. Like stereotypical man question. Where's my dinner? You're a lady. Where's my dinner? I don't know. Where's your fucking DoorDash, bitch? Open it up. I can't watch any Greg storylines.
I mean, you're also like, sir, you literally have a nonprofit that literally could stand to profit from the amount of publicity a show like this can give you, and actually like do good with that. And you're still going to be like, no, it's women arguing. Oh man. No, come on. Get over it.
And even if you're not in it for the sole money of it, and you're not like a, money hungry, shallow person like 90% of the rest of the world, I mean, it's still got stuff that it's giving you. I mean, it's handing you Mia on a silver platter. I mean, if you're really just in it to do good, no one needs social work more than Mia's family. So be thankful for what the Lord has given you. You know what I mean, Greg? Stop fucking complaining, man.
So Kieran is like,
well, as long as I can be publicly Kieran, I'm supposed to wear parsley. I don't have well-meaning genders.
So Kieran is like, I grew up in like a very middle-class household, and both my parents are military, and they got divorced when I was very young. But like, my dad and I have a relationship, and my mom's so independent. And we see her mom coming through the spa and saying like, starting in that Thanksgiving, we should talk about collecting cans and giving back, and we want to do more B2B. I was like, yes, independent lady. But this was very much like Bravo, like business lady. Like, I'm holding a manila envelope because I care about business. I want to do more B&B. It's like, okay, sure. Business.
B2B.
Business.
We're getting down B2B. What does B2B stand for?
Business to business.
Business to business.
That's how you know she's like a businesswoman. B2B.
Oh, I'm not a business person. I didn't know what that was.
IKR, BTB, IRL. Am I right? TBH, this is very B2B.
Yeah. Come on, honey. We're doing more for this Christmas. We're collecting cans. Mom, why did you take that bag of cans away from that person without a house? I win.
So,
my mom. Merry Christmas from the Carums.
So Kiera is like saying how it impacted her as a grown woman because she's like, I'm not going to take your shit. And we see a flashback to Greg being, you know, a jerk as usual. And Kiera just sitting there like, fuck this guy. I'm way too out of his league. And which, by the way, also Kiera, on top of everything else, you are literally so far out of his league. I mean, he is really punching up with you. So
yeah,
come on, know your worth. Know your worth.
Yeah. And, you know, he wants her to hold a broom. I want her to hold the broom too. I just want her to shove it up his ass. Like, I can't take this guy. So he's like, yeah, I need to take care of you because I'm a man and things need to go like this, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, but I'm like, don't retire me. You need to leave. He's not going to change. He's not going to change. So Giselle's like, well, I think it's a conversation about respect. He needs to respect the work that you have put into me. Kay Stewart.
And she's like,
Kristen Stewart. I mean, you were in the Vampire Diaries.
No.
What's the other
you were
one?
in panic room. Speaking of which, I'm going to panic if I stay in this small room much longer. What's the deal with that broken down car out front? Sorry, that's mine. Flat tire.
Well, it wasn't Vampire Diaries. It was Kiss of
Twilight.
the Vampire Stories. Yes, Twilight.
So Kieran is basically like, you know, she just wants him to see that it's like whatever.
She keeps talking. Great. She needs to stop. They need to stop this. Okay, change the subject. So then we
Giselle does it really well.
Karen. Huh?
Giselle changes it really well. She goes, we haven't discussed Karen, by the way. We're 30 minutes into talking about this person, Greg. We haven't talked shade about Karen. We just went on vacation with her. Let's make fun of her.
Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so worried about Karen, you know? Like, this is taking a toll on her. I mean, she looks strikingly different. And they talk about how different Karen looks. I don't think Karen looks any different. Do you?
No, I think maybe a little skinnier. She looks as different as any of them do when they come back from a season. If anyone looks different, it's Mia. Mia's always the one shape-shifting.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, how can you tell when Karen's different? She always looks like different parts of like a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic character shutting down, you know, in between shows at the restaurant where like one of her eyes is flickering for a minute and then it just like closes and the other eye is still open. You know, and the mouth is kind of like still half open. She's
Karen
always
always
in different states of Chuck E. Cheese shut down.
Karen always gives me like sock puppet with googly eyes, you know? Like, I just feel like if you she just has different socks on at any given time, but it's still like that same sort of, especially when she does her mouth and she starts doing the sucking thing. It's very much like the way like a sock puppet, the fingers will come over the thumb. Like, and I think, you know, it's like the sock can change, but we recognize our sock puppet nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. So they talk about, oh my God, Karen's getting skinny. Okay, first of all, Wendy, didn't you just have a full body makeover like 2 years ago? What are we skinny shaming people for on this show? People are always getting skinny. You're Real Housewives. That's that seems to be the running theme.
Actually, I mentioned that to her. I said, Karen, looks like you're getting skinny. Girl margaritas while you drive. You should probably stop doing that.
And she said she hasn't been eating, but Wendy's like, well, something is happening. And she goes, well, she's lost a lot of weight, but don't worry, everybody. We don't have to call the police. It's not Ozempic. And then Kiera tells us, I think it's Ozempic. And it is Ozempic. But Karen, in one of her, like, I'm going to be slammed by the public. Everybody hates Ozempic users. Instead of just saying she's on Ozempic, everybody was accusing Ozempic people of trying to kill diabetics because they were stealing their medication. And so Karen's doing that thing where she's like, well, I'm partly diabetic. I was raised half diabetic. My father comes from a long, long line of half diabetics. I'm actually an 8th diabetic. I need it. I need it for my health.
You know, one thing that we like to do in Surrey County is we like to do a little bit of the gambling. And so one thing we do is we bet on ticks. We bet to see which tick is going to go the farthest. So in that way, I'm sort of a die-hard betting tick sort of person. So hence diabetic.
I bet ticks. And you know what's so sad?
Apologies, everyone.
I lose. I lose often against these ticks.
These ticks are so crafty. I roll my dice. I say, okay, get a higher die number, tick. Because I'm playing die or bet ticks. They always get higher.
Karen's losing to dice games to ticks. She's losing dice games to ticks. So now it's the big Ozempic scandal. Dun, dun, dun. And Giselle's like, well, I don't think it's Ozempic, because I asked her about Ozempic. It's Karen, though. Why are you believing Karen at face value?
Yeah, and Wendy's like, well, I noticed on one of the nights in Panama, she went to bed really early. She looked really tired. I'm like, part of it is that you're on vacation. Part of it is that everyone around her is exhausting. Part of it is that she's in her 60s and maybe she's getting a little tired now. And part of it is also like, actually, yeah, like they're acting like it's crazy that you might be stressed out about a case that might send you away for 2 years in jail. And they're like, she seems really worried. She seems like something's on her mind. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Well, and also getting worried that somebody gets tired of hanging out with you lot. I guarantee you half the audience went to bed before Karen did.
And Kiera's like, no shade, everyone, but it could really just be a weight loss side effect. Like, it makes you sleepy. And Giselle's like, no.
Way to sell it, Kiera. Jesus. Doesn't losing weight sound fun, everybody? Get healthy. You'll just be exhausted all the time.
Yeah, it's like a Kiera and Greg scene. So Giselle is like, she's like, well, I thought it was stress over her case. See, what I'm trying to do, girls, is use this as a way to get into talking about her case and how she's going to go to jail. And why won't everyone talk about that? You guys keep talking about Ozempic. We need to talk about Karen going to jail.
Here I am thinking that Karen is stressed out because she's about to go to the clinker for running into a tree. And now you're taking shots in the butt. That's why you're upset.
So then Karen's like, yeah, well, you know, Karen's my girl and we share beauty tips all the time. So let me just say this. If it's for diabetes, I understand.
So Wendy's like, well, I don't know how to navigate it without feeling like I'm overstepping. And so they're going to have this big talk with Karen. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody's on Ozempic. And if you guys aren't admitting it, you're going to get caught soon. Anyway, you're fucking housewives. You're all on it. I don't believe it.
And since when does anyone ever care about overstepping on this show? So Wendy's
especially
phone
with
rings.
Karen. You guys have been dragging Karen for weeks. The only reason you're not dragging her more is because she just bows out. She's like, I can't speak about it. It's a very big case. So may or may not have murdered my parents after possible abuse. And Ryan Murphy may or may not have made a show about it. So, Karen, you are not the Menendez brothers. Prove it. Prove it. We'll see in court.
Yeah, like I don't want to overstep with Karen. However, here's a basket full of Uber cards that she can enjoy, and I left a pizza on her doorstep. So
Exactly.
Wendy's phone rings, and it's like the tow truck guy, and she's like, "Oh, you outside?" He's like, "Yes." She goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much," and he goes, "My pleasure, love." And they all just like crack up. They're like, "Whoa!"
Weird.
And they're like, "We need to see this guy." How did they not? I needed to see who this person was. I could not believe they didn't show us the guy.
Hey, love, I'll be right outside, ready to stick my hook into your bumper and drag you through the city like the gorgeous beast you are.
Well, we'll just have to imagine.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Now, this is funny. We have a scene with Ray and G at a restaurant called Miss Toya's, which is also just like
Miss Toya.
I'm just thinking Toya.
Every time an order's up, you just hear, Oopsie, get the food.
We have the Nomad MD appetizer. So, so they sit down and they're saying hi and everything, and they're just joking. It's like old guy talk, right?
So we have to talk about the old guy talk because it is so funny. First of all, how did the scene even happen? This show's come to a dark place when they're like, Ray, we need you to film a scene.
I know.
All right, well, I'll just hold Karen's purse. No, Ray, not holding Karen's purse with another guy. How do I do that? I don't think we've ever seen it before. So they actually send G and Ray to a restaurant. And so Ray is like, so have you been out and about at all? And G goes, well, mostly in air conditioner because my big toe starts to ache.
I
Can we
have
please
gout.
just do more of this.
It's just like, I have gout. So we've come to the pool a couple of times, but we don't go until it's like 4 PM. And Ray's like, oh, yeah, these days it's actually warmer, which it wasn't that way in the old days. It's in my mind, at least, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, high noon, 2 o'clock, 2:30, 1:45, 1:15, 1:05, 1:13, 1:37, 1:56 p.m. Those were all the hottest times.
Ow, my toe. Sorry. Sorry, it's just my toe. And people won't stop talking about times. My toe just starts flaring up.
His toe has mania.
His
So-
toe is manic, everybody. Call Kiera's company. So
Manic
she's like,
gout.
yeah, here's why. Because I'm a cheap guy. Blah, 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 blah. I bring the kids out when it's shady so I don't have to buy sunscreen. Yep. That's how to that's how to
I'm trying to watch the
Ray.
pennies. So they order food, and G's like, so yeah, some stuff I saw going on in the papers, and I called you. And Ray's like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, so the good news is that Karen's physical, and you could never tell that she had an accident or anything like that, and she didn't hurt anybody, So a traffic median got torn up. No big whoop. A tree fell down. Who cares? A lemonade stand flattened, but no one got hurt.
She thinks she'll be cleared of everything. After all, she is Thomas Jefferson's concubine, and she already got another car. So, and she's like, so did she get a Rolls Royce this time? And they start laughing. And so Ray is talking about how he's controlling less and less, and he's like, I don't know if you have that feeling, but yeah, I'm sure. And G goes, yeah, is the Pope Catholic?
I mean, you know who you're talking to. Shit. We're doing a great job co-parenting. I mean, I had the kids 25 days out of 30 days in June, and Ray's like, so you had them 24/7 at that point, even during the hottest hours of the day, like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, Karen told me something that you had the kids when Mia went to Panama.
Yeah, so Ray is basically there on a fishing expedition for Karen. And I love that Ray, because normally the women on these shows order food but never touch the food. That's the rule. Ray and G are going to eat this food. They do not give a shit. And Ray's eating like a huge piece of shrimp. And he's like, so Panama, Schmanama, Panama, Calanama, just go with it. And he's like, well, there were a couple of decisions that I made that were questionable, or that were made that were questionable. So I picked up my kids. And so Ray was saying, Mia was saying, like, Mia was so concerned about it, but I'm thinking, well, if he's the dad, what's the problem with him picking up his kids? And Ray, I'm sorry, but can I pull you aside and let me tell you about a little friend I have? His name is Mania.
And then Ray goes, I mean, I don't see why there'd be an issue unless you were to do something crazy like take the kids to Charlotte, which I did not know anything about. You definitely didn't take them to Charlotte or anything like that, right? And he's like, well, early in the period when we separated, she was with another guy and had the kids there. And Ray's like, is that ink? Hold on, let me just pull out my pad. I'm just really trying to write this all down for Karen. 1 second. Ink, right? INC or INK?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, so basically, I had to go to Atlanta to get my kids back because Mia was just taking the kids over, like, here's your new daddy. And Ray says, well, I thought you were amicable. And he's like, well, it depends on who you ask, because the factor of the matter is I don't know him well enough to like or not like him. What I do know is that he's had several affairs with his wife. And I put my foot down the first time, the second time, the third time. And at this point, I'm basically my own tap company. And I will keep tap dancing because the music lives within me.
Ray's like, and like a mature adult, if you will, sometimes we just raise ourselves above it all. Am I right? That was Ray giving a little scold there. And Gia's like, no, that's hard to get by. I mean, I don't think I can adequately do what you suggest. I can't rise above it all. Okay, I married a trash box, and now my life is filled with trash box. So I'm going to move beyond and move above because I got myself to deal with.
So they break for prayer, which is nice. And then they go back to talking about whom he is fucking. And he's like, this really frosts my ass. He brought it up initially thinking that my son was his son. And Ray's like, oh, yeah, I like that story. So which one? Is that true or is it not true? Or did they already take the skin off of this shrimp? Because I've got something crunchy in my teeth. I think I just swallowed a tooth. And he's like, yeah, actually, I did get a paternity test. And my son is a shrimp. Damn this shrimp. No, my son is my son. Oh, well, good for you. Can I get a tiny fork down my throat?
So it's true. G is Jeremiah's father. It's official. So Ray's like, oh, that's beautiful. I was hoping to bring something back a little more salacious for Karen, but that works. That's okay. That's fine. And G's like, yeah. So I waited a couple of weeks and I showed it to her. And Ray's like, so Mia hasn't told anybody this? And he's like, I don't know. It's a dead issue now at this point.
Yeah, so it's confusing. And Ray also didn't get the good deets. Like, we need to know the timeline. When did you get this paternity test? How long has Mia known? Has it been the whole season that she's still trying to make this, at least half the season that she's been trying to make this a thing? Because Mia's shady, So Ray goes, well, that's good. Yeah, it was interesting because when Karen was pregnant with Raven, she said, now, sometimes I have like a little blue eyes and gray eyes in my family. And I'm like, no, you don't. I was like, damn, Ray just dropped way more than I thought he was going to drop. This is turning into a really good scene. Fucking Karen was telling him, now listen, if our baby comes out with blue eyes and blue hair, it's because of my great-great-grandfather.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what Ray was getting at here because he's basically throwing Karen under the bus, right? Saying that,
yeah,
because he was like saying like
affair with old blue eyes the whole time.
But I think what he also said is because he says, I said no, you don't, and I'm not going to be looking for any blue eyes or gray eyes. So maybe the implication is, if you had an affair and there's a child, like this child's mine. Like I'm raising it. I don't care if it has blue eyes. I'm not going to be looking to see if it has blue eyes. Like this child will be my child. I think that's sort of what he's implying. I couldn't quite tell. Or it's just Ray just kind of nattering.
I don't think so. I think Karen was like, this could possibly be Frank Sinatra's child. And he was just like, so then, and Ray still doesn't seem to quite get it. I'm not really sure what's going on in the scene, but I'm really liking it. So G is like, okay, yeah. So let me tell you, there's some really good things coming out of this. I took a good hard look at myself. Listen what I've done. I've printed my own pamphlets and I've arranged them on a countertop. So I don't need her. I don't need her anymore. I'm a new man.
Yeah. And, he's like, with my bipolar medicine will only take you part of the way there. And you have to do the rest by yourself. And when I suggested to Mia most recently is let's have some post-marital counseling until you're serious about getting married. Or I'm serious about getting married. Like, why even get a divorce? So then it turns out that, well, actually, the first thing that happens is the server comes over and they're like, do you have bread pudding? Because I'm not going to eat this cornbread if there's a bread pudding option. Okay, just wanted to see.
Yeah.
There's. But so it seems like they're not even getting divorced because it seems like they're still in a kind of like, let's see what happens phase, according to G.
Right. So then we go to Stacey going to talk to a lawyer. She's interviewing a lawyer. And so she's like, well, first of all, let me say that I've been married for 16 years. Can you believe it?
And the lawyer is like, so you're currently separated? And she says, well, over a year now. I've already sought out a mediator, but I want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. For instance, the decision to bring these beautiful earrings now available for the low price of $59.99. They look like they're $3,000, but they are less than $60. That is a good decision. Make your phone calls now because they will not last in stock.
sometimes you have to look deeply at marriage and say, this isn't only a tennis shoe, it's also a water bottle. 8 payments of $9.99. You could have it too. Do you know how many of those I sold? So can we stay on focus? Stay on focus. You're not on KBC right now, all right? Let's talk about your divorce. So she's like, yeah, I'm just in the dark about some things. And so we see a flashback of her telling the ladies, like, well, I guess there were some surprising things. Like suddenly there were bank accounts I didn't know about and businesses in my name. And they're like, whoa, or whatever she said. Those are not exact quotes.
So the lawyer's like, okay, so going forward, what are the top 3 things that are most important to you? And she goes, well, number 1 would have to be Arabella, and I will have her during the school year. And then he will take her during the summer months. And then the second thing is that I waive the right to child support because, as we all know, men keep their word and they're always going to support their children no matter what.
That's so crazy that she's doing. I don't understand what she's doing here. I groaned audibly. So she's like, so did you sign a prenup? No, they did not. And how do your incomes compare? Are they similar? She's like, no, no. He makes a substantially larger amount of money than I do. But now, if we weren't counting money and we were counting ability to cut a Diet Coke can with one knife that can literally cut through steel, I mean, I'm pretty rich in that department.
You know where I have a lot of wealth? In my ability to throw to weather. Okay, Chuck. Tell us about what's coming down the pike this weekend. Like, there's no weatherman here. And yet I did that anyway. Just shows how good I am at that.
And so she's like, so what about alimony? She goes, I will go forward with alimony. So she's like, okay, so before we get all the way to finances, let's just make sure on custody that we've got everything covered. And she's like, well, he takes care of everything that Arabella needs. There's nothing that I ever have to pay for. So why would I need child support? Surely it's going to be exactly the same when I'm living with another man in his home, in the home that we bought together as a family.
When he sees my special friend TJ in his mesh shirt, I'm sure my ex will say, give more money to Arabella. Nothing could possibly go wrong. I'm sorry, lawyer lady, but you're sadly mistaken about the status of my ex-husband.
And the lawyer's like, yeah, so when you're divorcing, it seems like people are one thing, but then they get mad and then they change. And she's like, oh, what? That's crazy. I'm going to have to think about that. I'm 100% sure that you're wrong, though. I guarantee you're wrong. Did you know that if you have this toothbrush, you can use Coca-Cola to clean a toilet? Only $6 a month.
And the lawyer is like, so what's your reason for wanting to waive child support but not the alimony? She goes, well, in terms of Arabella, we've just made the decision that he would take care of that, and I'm confident that he will do that. Almost as confident as I am that this new wet dry vac will take care of any stain in your carpet. Available now for $175.99.
And so the lawyer's trying to explain to her gently, like, okay, so you're making sure that it's in writing because you don't trust that he will take care of you, but you do trust that he'll take care of Arabella. And she goes, maybe that is what I'm doing. She's like, okay, so don't you want to also maybe ensure that your daughter is also going to have that level of support moving forward, in writing? And she's like, I'm looking at her and I can almost see the terror in her eyes, but she is 100% wrong about my husband. He's a good person.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, people who excel in corporate America are famously pretty chill, nice, not very cutthroat people. Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they're also good with their morals.
I'm sure he's not going to do anything like, show your daughter the high life when she's living with him. And then, now you have to go back to mom's house or you're living in a bed made out of old scrunchies. And I'm sure he wouldn't do anything like that. Right?
The lawyer's like, have you ever heard of a book called Cinderella where there's like an evil stepmom? Have you thought about that? She's like, Yes, I have thought about that. And I would be so excited if Arabella wound up with glass slippers. That's all I want for her. It's like, yeah, no. This gig got really bad very quickly. Stacey, listen to the lawyer. Pay attention.
Yeah. And also, I wish the lawyer was like, listen, I work on commission. So if you don't want anything, what's your husband's number? I'll go fucking work for him because he's going to take you to the fucking cleaners, lady.
Yeah. So now we go to the Container Store, which is such a delightful twist. I was not expecting that. And you know what's so funny about the Container Store, I find, is that I feel like everyone universally loves the Container Store. You talk to people, they're like, oh my God, I got to go to the Container Store. People love the Container Store. And yet, every time I go into the Container Store, it looks exactly like it does in this scene, which is just like empty and strangely quiet. And you're like, there's nothing about the Container Store that should actually be fun. It should feel oppressive and sad in there, but I always have the best time.
I just am always mortified at how much things cost to contain things. Like, you want to charge me $50 for a plastic box? No, I'm not giving that to you. I can get it at Target. Even at Target, it's $10. And I'm like, this is a plastic box, $2. I'll give you $2.
The Container Store also has such a strange way of organizing their goods for a store that's all about organization. If you're like, hey, I'm looking for like a small box that I could put some pencils in, they're like, oh, yes. So we have some on aisle 3 in the office supplies. Oh, and then also aisle 43 near the pet supplies. And I think we may have one over by vehicle storage. Like, why are the pencil boxes scattered across the store?
Different themes, because they have different themes of plastic boxes, you know?
Yeah.
So, Giselle's like, I'm an accomplished woman, and every accomplished woman needs a trip to the Container Store. Ding! So she walks through there with her kids, and she's talking about her dad's will, which is completely fucked up, because as she told us in another episode, what it seems like she's saying is that his new wife, or his newer wife, went in and changed his will when he had brain damage and is trying to pass that off as a new will. Is that kind of what she's saying? I shouldn't say wife,
yeah.
Maybe like his new family or whatever.
There's someone in there who like took advantage of his ailing state and put in basically like a bunk will. So it's all being contested.
So she's like, and I wanted to make sure that I'm passing that on to my children. Generational wealth is important. So we're storing it in plastic boxes.
That are too expensive. So now we're going to lose our generational wealth because we spent all that time trying to contain it. So she's just trying to deal with this. So one of the twins has already gone off to school, but it doesn't mean now, normally you would buy the stuff for both twins at the same time, but no, we are staggering buying the dorm goods. So now one twin is off. We still have one twin left over, and they're looking around. And they're just joking. Gizelle is talking about coming to visit for a party. And Adora's like, no, God, don't come. You'll just be like the crazy old woman at the party. She's like, excuse me, yeah.
So then we go to Stacey and TJ on a date. And of course, they have to go to a place with a childish name because she's taking her child, TJ, to lunch. So they go somewhere called Treehouse. Treehouse. Like, is everything infantile about this man? For Christ's sake. Is there no BOA in this town?
I mean, what would be like the adult name instead of Treehouse? It would be like the Container Store. Now
like,
that's an
I'm
adult
trying
name.
to have a conversation with you. Could you please come out of that box?
I don't know if that phrase is welcome around TJ. So TJ is like, yeah, well, we never get a chance to hang out. And so I wanted to do something that I thought I would enjoy, especially because we're outside and there's sunshine, and then something I think you would enjoy because we don't get to do anything. And I don't know, I just thought like maybe since we don't ever get to do anything, I would just start things off on kind of a passive aggressive note.
Yeah, this whole scene, TJ has decided that he's going to be a huge victim now. Like, what the hell? He like changes his whole plot in this scene, which is really weird. So she's like, well, isn't this a treat for us? Do you like treats? I love treats. Okay, watch out. A treat's coming into your mouth right now. Meatball on the train. Meatball on I was coming up to a tunnel. And he's like, no, I want to talk about serious things in the treehouse. Can I get a menu I can color on?
I think the reason why TJ is spinning this onto Stacey when, about like where he's becoming the victim is because he's getting flack from the other women, and he'll get it from the audience about the fact that he is actually withholding intimacy from Stacey. And so this is kind of I'm going to flip that and put it on Stacey, which is you're withholding from me. You're not giving me Stacey time.
That's true. And he's also doing a thing, which is he's a working actor, but he's not a rich working actor. You know what I mean? He's like a blue collar, I guess you would say, working actor. And the minute she says, guess what? My husband's going to move out, which she does tell him. He's like, oh, why aren't we closer? Can I move in? Mm-hmm. Like, babe, no, you janky. No. Go get your own apartment, sir. Okay. This is not a Holiday Inn.
He just wants to shoot more scenes with her. He wants to make more of a splash on the show. We don't know what this is all about. And I love that she's actually seems to be relatively unfazed. She just sort of smiles, has this blank smile on her face, and doesn't really, I'm not going to say she doesn't fall for the tricks, but she seems like she's like, oh, well, you feel that way. Okay. Like it's not he doesn't seem to get a rise out of her if that's what his intention is. She just keeps on sort of like fembotting through the scene, which is what I love. She really does.
And so he's basically trying to get into her house. And for now, it's just visits, but I don't believe it. I know he's got a bag packed in the trunk of his Honda, And so she's like, while I love TJ, it just doesn't feel right to have TJ at my house yet. That's where Arabella sleeps. It's my sanctuary. It's Arabella's sanctuary. My husband and I have been very cordial and respectful, and I don't want to mess that up, especially for Arabella.
Also, I just don't think it's fair for TJ to be pressuring Stacey when she says she needs time. She doesn't want to rush this. When again, sir, you are the one who is withholding like even the lightest, like not even booty. You're like withholding any sort of like touch or anything. So like you can't ask her for patience, but then when she asks you for patience, you get all pouty at the treehouse.
Yeah, he's doing this whole weird thing now. I don't like it. And he's like, it just feels like you're hiding me. Since when? She's brought you onto TV 10 times and you've acted like a jackass every single one of the times. What, are you mad that you didn't get to go on the girls' trip? Because that's really all that's happened between the last episode you were on and this one.
Like, do you remember your at-home pizza making thing?
Oh.
I would hide you too.
Yeah.
They showed a clip of him last week. At one point, I don't remember the context, but at one point they referenced TJ, and the producers are just like mocking him because they do a flashback to the pizza party moment, and they just show the most ridiculous clip of him like sort of prancing to the kitchen going, I was like, oh, these producers don't like him. They don't.
So she's like, what do you need for me to make you feel good about this? That word is xylophone. Just circle it. Oh my God, I got one. You're welcome. Are we good here?
He's like, I just want you to play the glockenspiel. All right, well, you're in luck. I brought one. Arabella, I'll have the glockenspiel now. Bring it in. So that's when he says like, well, let me get out my chalk. And he pretends he's like going to write on a board and everything. And he's basically like, yeah, he's like, I want you to tell your husband that we're dating. How about like, since why does she have to do that when you literally just told the whole group of people that you're not dating and that you're like seeing someone in California, by the way?
He said that?
Didn't he say that when they said, or at the very least, he did tell the group that they're not dating?
Yeah, he said, yeah, it was that game. And they're saying you can't say that you're dating him because you're technically, he hasn't said you're dating yet or something like that. And he said, I have to agree with them, right? Is that what you mean?
I don't know. You know what? At this point, who the hell cares? I don't care. My case is, I don't know. My case probably has a lot of.
I don't have a case. I'm just trying to remember what happened. But yeah, he's basically now this big white, mopey, whiny guy. And also, why would you want her to tell her husband that? That's going to infuriate him and try and be more ruthless in the divorce. And if you're a user and want to use her money, you're going to need that money. So you're just bad at this, TJ. Okay, you're bad at being a fuck boy because you don't fuck, and you're bad at being a mister because you ruin the divorce. You're no fun. Yeah. You're bad at this. Okay, you need someone better to bang, ma'am. Go find him. I believe in you.
So she tells us TJ has never been married and he doesn't have children, so it's hard for him to understand. But for the last 16 years, I had a husband who would never wear a mesh shirt on TV. And I also had a life and a social standing in my community. And I just don't feel like myself. I can't move any faster because then I reflect on the fact that I did used to have social standing in a community and now I have TJ.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I think I lose sight of all the things you have to deal with because I've been so patient and understanding all this time. Oh, really? You're dating a married woman, sir. First of all.
Yeah.
No, you are not patient and understanding, okay? You're just keeping all the wrong things in your pants, okay? You know what we want also to come out of your pants? A wallet every once in a while, TJ.
Yeah. So then he starts to do his like, hey, I was an extra on Grey's Anatomy, so I can cry. So he goes like, I don't want you to feel like you're in limbo and I have your back. But if you need me, I can do that too. You won't be by yourself.
Oh, God. So she's like, oh, babe, this is why I love you. But I think she's getting slowly turned off by this. I don't think she's going to like this role reversal. Although I think they're still together. That said, they were on What Happens Live a few weeks ago together.
Yeah, that's true. They were. So she goes, TJ has been anxiously waiting, and I just want to continue loving each other and being best friends. And let's just see what happens. I know he'll wait for me and for Arabella.
So he's like all distraught. He can't even walk. She's like, look at TJ, such a good person. So basically she's like, I know he's anxiously waiting. I just want to continue loving each other and being best friends. Okay, this girl, this is the third time she's changed her storyline. At first, she was not like this character at all. She was like more forceful and like, I am leaving. I'm not putting up with this. And then 3 episodes into it, she's like, I'm going to play this kind of like Rose Nyland, like sweet, innocent, naive person. And now she's changing her whole relationship status to pretend that she's been the one not wanting things to go further with TJ this whole time when the whole plot has been him. You can't just change the plot. Is there no storyboarding here?
I don't know. This is one of those rare relationships where I actually am just like, whatever it is, like if this week it's this dynamic, I'm just like, sure, it's fine. Because I'm like, it's weird. It's like I don't care about them, but I don't get mad by them. I'm amused by them, but I'm not like, I don't get worked up by them. I just feel like he's a loser. I feel like she's great. And I think that she's funny. And I think that she will ultimately move onwards and upwards. And I think that she just comes slumming it with TJ right now because she doesn't know what to do with her life.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he's just a placeholder because lame. Okay, so now we go to Karen and Ray's, and she's doing that thing where it's like, oh my God, honey, what should I wear? And she's showing him all these outfits. And she's like, well, Ashley is doing a show. Typically, it's my queens, my drag queens, but she's tapping into the masculine side of herself, whatever that means. I guess she'll be grabbing a few asses of cameramen. Watch yourselves out there, boys.
Ray's like, oh, is she part of the show? And she's like, yes, Ray, she's part of the drag. But she wants us to tap into a masculinity. I don't have a masculine bone in my body. My favorite fragrance wasn't called La Man, it was called La Dame. So now I went into your closet and I took this out, a shiny golf shirt with the logo about some sort of title. He's like, oh yeah, my title is shirt. But she's actually taken like a button-down shirt and everything. And so, you know, they're just like talking about
a masculine bone in my body. I thought I was pregnant with a blue-eyed baby. Get it, Ray? I don't. Good. You never will, Ray. You never will.
So she's talking about this stuff. And then eventually, like after this chit chat, he's like, oh, by the way, I went to lunch with Gordon the other day. And she's like, oh, really? I had no idea. I wasn't totally sitting in the parking lot waiting for you to come out and tell me everything. How was that?
He's like, well, let me give you the tea. So he's basically telling her everything that he said, which basically is that she's a liar. That the kids
he's like,
fine.
G's the father.
Yeah.
G's the father
of the kid.
And like, why shouldn't he be there with the kids? And Karen's like, but she also said that she has full custody. And he's like, yeah, I don't know how that would be then. And we see a flashback of that when Mia said that she had full custody, which remember when we were recapping it, we were like, if Mia has full custody, why is he picking the kids up, you know? So Ray is like, well, the custody thing, unless the judge says you got custody or you've got part custody, I don't think that that's happened because he's saying he's had them the whole time.
Yeah. Fishy, not surprising, but it always is kind of surprising with me, even though I know she's a compulsive liar. But these are really big lies. But then are we going to believe G on everything too? I mean, it's not like he's a trustworthy source either. So,
yeah, these people really are. I mean, it's hilarious, but I mean, I don't know. I think they're both lying. But the question is trying to figure out when they're lying and when they're telling the truth. So Ray is like, that basically G doesn't like that ink is around the kids without Mia. And Karen's like, well, Mia told us that they're like the Black Brady Bunch. And Ray is like, well, I was surprised and I didn't ask, but he volunteered that he had a paternity test. She's like, oh, thank God someone finally got to the bottom of this. It's Ink's child, is it? It's Ink. It's a little Ink. He's like, no, it's actually G's kid. She's like, well, that's good. That's good. You know, G wanted this baby to be his.
So she's like, well, nobody brought it into your life, Mia. You opened it. And the fact that you knew about this some time ago, hold on, let me suck my teeth real good for this one. Withholding information. After making people pray over you, I've wasted a prayer.
Yeah, and we see clips of where, Mia's like, guys, Gordon's in mania. And Karen's like, and you're not going to give them the truth. It actually tells me everything I've been thinking. You're a liar.
And so Ray's like, yeah, he's not happy. And he's like, he was saying, what's the point of even getting divorced if we're not getting remarried? And Karen's like, oh, well, she's acting like the divorce is almost done. And he's like, well, he's acting like shrimp is supposed to come without the skin on. It really hurt. Like,
Ray, what are you talking about?
Sorry, go ahead, me.
Ray, what are you talking about? Shrimp with skin. This is ridiculous, Ray. Stay on task.
So she's over it. So now we go to Ashley's Drag King show at Shakers. Dun, dun, dun. And the girls start arriving, and it's one of those, oh my God, you look amazing. No, you look amazing. And then they settle in to have a drink, and then it's
yeah, Kiera had a fight with Greg.
Great. You look great too.
And Kiera had a fight with Greg because, he basically doesn't like that she's filming the show. And Wendy's like, whoa, well, that's terrible. Gosh, I would feel terrible. I would just hate for this to be a situation where she has to make a choice between being famous and on television around fabulous women or being with Greg, who sits in a windowless office with fluorescent lights in a polo shirt all day. God, what a terrible choice.
Yeah, and Giselle's like, he needs to respect your hustle. Who do you think she's going to choose? You or a TV show?
Yeah.
She's going to choose the TV show, dummy. Okay? Like, She's already been on here in your stupid polo that you wear as your uniform at your job. I mean, that's basic. For someone like Kiera, like a really fashionable person, that's the most selfless thing a person could do for you.
Exactly. When she was in that polo shirt, I was like, oh, she just made a sacrifice. She appeared on TV wearing a polo shirt. And she looked great, by the way, because she's
Wasn't she also wearing a hat, or is that just in my head that she was wearing?
I think maybe she had hat energy that day. I don't think she had a hat. But, I mean,
was she
like,
handing out pens with logos on them? Because I feel like she was.
Was she dressed like a hand and walking down the street, like the hamburger helper person?
Did she have a big magnetic logo on her car of his company?
Was she wearing a sandwich board thing that said, get your social work 2 for 1 today?
Yeah. So they're like, yeah, it's not going to work out. And they're correct. So then they start talking about their masculine sides because they're supposed to be tapping into their masculine sides. And I don't really think they did. I think maybe Giselle wore like a hat, a cowboy hat or something. What did you wear?
There may have been some cowboy hats, but they basically were like, no, we're not going to do this. And then Ashley shows up and she starts talking to some other queens that are there. And there's a drag queen there named Drew Sidora, which I just died. I was like, I love that there's someone said, let me go for the lowest hanging fruit off of Atlanta.
But it doesn't even
the biggest scammer.
It doesn't even make sense as a drag name. They just spelled Drew Dreux Sidora. Like, what is
it doesn't make sense, but I think there's no pun. I think it's just a funny reference. Like, who would ever make tribute to Drew Sidora? Like, someone really enjoyed watching The Pass, but I just thought it was hilarious.
Just a super basic person who doesn't understand how cameras in your house work. That's our whole shtick. Where is the ring cam? Where is the ring?
So Ashley is like, I can't forget my lyrics. And they're like, you won't. In fact, if you want, you don't have to sing at all. In fact, maybe don't sing or lip sync or actually don't take the stage. You just stay back here. We'll let you, Sadora, do this instead.
She's like, oh my God, I'm so nervous because I screamed like 5 times. I mean, I've had bubble guts all day. And the drag queen, Crystal Edge, is like, I pray you don't shit yourself on stage, girl. It'll be good. It'll be good. It's a shot. You're not a drag queen unless you take a shot. So they do. And then Ashley goes, well, no one's shit themselves before, right? She's like, you'd be surprised. A lot of shit myself in here.
I really think of myself as like a Casanova, and like my utmost goal for this performance here is to knock everybody's panties off in the audience. Sorry, Mom.
I don't understand what that has to do with being a Casanova. Oh, I guess the Casanova takes off women's panties, maybe. I don't know.
Casanova's sexy. Very sexy. So then,
Casanova.
She goes to get dressed, and Karen is telling us, well, Ashley's family is not surprised by her exploring her sexuality. I mean, as a top, it's a pussy or something like that. What did she say?
Ass and top. She's like, ass, a pussy. She's like, here's an ass, here's a pussy, ass, pussy, penis here. I mean, Ashley's doing her art, and her mother is here, and her mother rocks. And she's probably also saying, Ashley, get yourself together.
So let's see. So now some more small talk, and Gizelle is saying, like, listen, you know, Karen's not eating, guys. She's not speaking. She's not doing anything. What is wrong with Karen? And so they talk to her, and Wendy's like, yeah, we're all concerned about you. And she's like, well, with what I'm going through, it makes total sense, don't you think? I mean, that deer almost murdered me on the road that night. And the way that they constructed a fence just to impede my driving, extremely offensive. I'm having a talk with the city about it.
Giselle's like, well, Kiera tells me you're on Ozempic. She goes, well, everyone in my family is diabetic, so I am pre-diabetic. So yes, I am on a semaglutide. And Giselle's like, so that's a form of Ozempic. She goes, it is not a form of Ozempic. It's just something that's mostly what Ozempic is. So that should clear that up.
Do you call toothpaste just because it's made out of toothpaste? Yes, Karen. Well, you got me there. Fine. I'm kind of on Ozempic.
Listen.
Because I'm 1.3% Apache diabetic. There. It's in my family. Look it up. 23andMe.
Listen, am I taking on Ozempic? Yes. So what? Is it suddenly wrong to be a patriot? Is it suddenly wrong not to support our swimmers and track and field people? No, Karen, not the Olympics. We're not asking if you've taken on the Olympics. Asking if you're taking on Ozempics.
Well, it's been very difficult for me. You don't understand how much money I've lost betting against ticks. It's embarrassing at this point.
She says, well, I don't want diabetes, and people lose their limbs. People lose everything. So Stacey is like, it's preventative care, everyone. So Wendy's like, oh, I'm not a medical doctor, but aren't there other ways to prevent diabetes? So Giselle's like, it's fine, but don't have me thinking you're not eating and that you're stressed out. And Karen's like, no.
Then I'm 142 pounds. And Wendy's like, chicken wings. Let's get some chicken wings over here. So now Jacqueline and Mia come, so they start gossiping. Karen pulls Gizelle aside, and she's like, listen here, now, thank you for being transparent and honest and trying to call me an anorexic on national television. That was fun. Now, on a serious note, Ray had lunch with G. First of all, they were both given many, many cloth napkins. One of them was tied so tightly around Ray's neck he couldn't breathe for a while. He almost choked on a chicken block. Have you ever heard of those? Why are shrimp covered in clothes? Can you tell? Ray couldn't explain what he was talking about. Get to the point, Karen. Me is a slut and a liar.
The point is this. A man, a plan,
Panama.
Like, what, Karen, what are you doing? It's called a palindrome. I just learned about it. It was very, very important, pertaining to our vacation. And when we were having that man with a plan in Panama, he got the babies, and Mia implied that he had gone off the deep end and that there was something manic happening, but he did not. That ain't all. The custody thing, it doesn't exist. He took his son to get a paternity test, and guess what?
We called security on it, and the baby is G's.
Oh my God. And Karen's like, yes. And so she's like, but Ray asked if they're still doing divorce. And G said, no, that's on pause. She's been lying this whole time, Karen. And so Gizelle's pissed. She's like, that girl goes too far. And she's like, we're going to tell them right now. We're telling everybody about Mia's lies.
Yes. So Karen's like, I am blown away. So now.
My heart is in my throat. Eat it. Shut up, Wendy.
So Stacey is like, oh my goodness, Mia, I have never seen so many ones. So are we just going to go up and tip her? Wow, is this like what they do at a strip club? I am scandalized right now.
Mia, Karen just informed me about a whole lot of things as it relates to the conversation that G and Ray had, and it's very clear that you've been lying to this whole group, and I got a fluted wooden box for $5 under retail value. Thank you very much.
He's like, well, what are you talking about? And Gizelle's like, everything. So Karen's like, the divorce is on pause. She's like, who's saying that? Nobody's divorcing anybody according to G.
And that they're telling the truth. This is where I was like, oh, so G was telling the truth, because you just see Jacqueline's face look at me. I'm like, uh-oh.
What am I supposed to say? Just tell me. Just say the word. I'll say something. Number one friend.
So Mia goes, well, when is Gordon's word more important than mine? I'm your friend. He's a literal maniac.
Because Mia, you're a known liar. She's like, no, I'm not. And Gizelle's like, yes, you are. No, I'm not. And when he's like, wait, guys, hold on. It's too loud. If we're going to fight and do something that could be in the season trailer, we should do it outside where the audio is better for Bravo.
Listen, if we were in a drag queen night, they would love that in here. But this is Drag Kings. They're just going to dance off rhythm a lot. They don't like this kind of fighting. We have to take this outside.
Yeah. So Mia's like,
Gordon didn't download me on the conversation with Ray because that's his conversation with Ray. So I'm like not going to run back like I'm 12 years old and say, hey, guess what Ray said about you, Karen? But, there's different standards of etiquette in Potomac.
Mia.
The standards of etiquette in Potomac. Be quiet, you. I love when they go out to fight. The drag kings are like, oh my God, yes, they're going out to fight with each other. Icon, father.
So Mia's like,
Please explain yourself. She's like, no, I don't have to explain myself. This is your life. And she's like, well, hold on. Tell me what you know about my life, because we haven't talked about your life, your drunk driving. We haven't talked about your DUIs and talked about you fucking every man that decides to open his dick up to you. Yes, I did say open his dick up.
Yeah, and Giselle's like, oh, God, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we get it. She ran into a tree. She's waiting for a trial. We get it. Karen, we all know Karen's doing her thing on the side. It's not even a jab. Like, we've been on her for 5 months. You don't get to slut shame, ma'am. We've already covered that ground.
Yeah. So Karen's like,
last month alone, Mia watched her kids for 5 days, and he watched them the rest of the month. Is that true, Mia?
Lies. Well, G told Ray that he had his son paternity tested and that you've known for quite some time that this is G's baby. I should have known when I met that child and he did this to me.
Jacqueline's like, excuse me, representative for Mia Thornton here. Okay, she wasn't ready to discuss the paternity test with the group yet. And if she was going to, she was going to discuss it with me first because I'm the number one person in her life. Get in line, everyone.
And Giselle's like, excuse me, this has been her plot the entire season. What do you mean she's not ready to discuss it? She literally made everything about this.
Mm-hmm. Guys, you know what? Gordon did a home test. Okay, it's not even a real paternity test. So we know this. I call for a mistrial. Jacqueline Esquire says mistrial, guys.
Now, Gordon found that baby had no DNA in common with Ink, but they did both recently eat a hot dog and had some left over on their shirt. It is crazy what these things can find on you. Mia, shut up. Shut Jacqueline up, please. So Mia's like, I'm not going to have this conversation. And so everybody's like trying to go at her, but Mia's just like walking away. She's like going back into the drag show. And Kieran is like, this is too much. What will Greg say? And that's the end of that one.
Yep. That was the end. Thank you everyone for being here. What a fun time talking about Potomac.
Yeah, good times. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. We will be moving on to Southern Hospitality and then Crappy Hour later on tonight. And we'll be back all week with lots of fun stuff. Go get your tickets for the San Francisco, San Diego, Salt Lake City, and Denver live shows coming up in the next 2 weeks, as well as our Broadway show over at Town Hall in New York City on February 1st. Okay, go to watchwhatcrappens.com. That's it. And if you want our traders recaps, those will be up every week over on Patreon as well. We sure love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors.
Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp. Catherine DiBernardo has our hardo.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt. Dana C. Dana Do.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Etchels!
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey. You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
We could all learn from Jennifer Kearns.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Mannock's door. She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us. It's Lindsay D. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry. We love her on the rocks. It's Melissa Cox. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
Have a heck of a time with Rebecca. She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors. She's VVIP, it's Amanda V.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD. She's got a leg up. It's Beth Ani.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish. It's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz. It's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it. It's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters. She eases our woes. It's Melissa St. Rose.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Put on a kettle for Rebecca Weddle.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.